Hi all, welcome to this discussion on operational amplifiers. The previous videos we were discussing about operational amplifier configurations like closed loop and open loop configurations. So today when you are going to a market for buying some operational amplifier for some random application that you are going to design, then you need to be aware of some parameters of op amp. So that is what we are going to discuss in this video. So welcome to this video, and it is very important that you have to know that there are a lot of operational amplifiers that are available in the market. So you need to be aware of which one to choose depending upon your application. So the application is something that decides which kind of operational amplifier you have to buy from the market. So for that you need to know about these operational amplifier parameters. So that parameters you have to check whether these parameters are compatible to your application, and then you will be finding a suitable operational amplifier from the internet, and then you can order it. So that is the workflow on this. So we'll be discussing some operational amplifier parameters in this video. So let us see it. The first operational amplifier parameter that we are going to discuss is on input bias current. So suppose we have an operational amplifier here, and I am connecting these two inputs to ground here. Still, you will be having some input current flowing into the operational amplifier through these terminals. So take the average of that and you get input bias current. So for 741 series operational amplifier, this input bias current is almost around 500 nano ampere. So it is a feeble current. Still, sometimes it can be noisy. So you will be choosing a Precision 714 series operational amplifier which has only 7 nano amperes. So the next one is input offset current. Input offset current is the difference between the input currents that are flowing into the non-inverting and inverting terminals. Okay, so you can see the equation for that, and the parameter is around 200 nanoamperes for 741 series, and for the precision operational amplifier it is around 6 nanoamperes. So you can see the scale of improvement in this. The third parameter is input offset voltage. This happens because even if you connect the same voltage source to both of the inputs, you should ideally get an output voltage which is equal to 0, but it doesn't happen in reality. So that is because of small changes between the two inputs, in non-inverting and in inverting inputs of the operational amplifier due to some defects and all, minor defects and all. So what we do is we measure, we keep a voltage source to two different voltage sources to the two inputs, and check whether the output voltage goes to 0 for a particular voltage difference. So what voltage difference that you apply here to make the output voltage 0 or to null, and that voltage difference is called input offset voltage. So the difference between the non-inverting and inverting input voltages which makes the output voltage equal to 0, and that is input offset voltage. Ideally, the op amp should behave in such a way that if both the inputs are having the same voltage, then the output is 0. But due to the defects in the operational amplifier, still you have a small voltage generated at the output even when the input voltages are the same. So this value is 6 millivolt DC for 741 series operational amplifiers, whereas in the case of precision operational amplifier like 714 series, it is of the order of 150 microvolt DC. So that is the difference. So there are other operational amplifiers which have better properties and all. The fourth parameter that we are going to discuss is a common mode rejection ratio, CMRR. The CMRR is a ratio of differential voltage gain to the common mode voltage gain. So we have seen the voltage gain parameter of operational amplifier, that voltage gain is what is given as the differential voltage gain. Okay, the voltage gain for the differential signals that are coming into the operational amplifiers. Okay, and what is a common mode voltage gain? Common mode voltage gain is that voltage gain when you are applying common mode signals. So if you are giving common mode means the both inputs are having the same voltage. So this is a common mode signal. So this signal is common to both the inputs of the operational amplifiers. So it acts as a common mode signal. Another example is noise. Usually noise will be acting simultaneously on both the inputs. The advantage of operational amplifier is that it can reject due to this differential gain amplification. So whenever you are having a common mode signal, then your operational amplifier should have 0 at the output, but it doesn't happen in reality. There will be a small output voltage. So what is that common mode voltage gain? That is the ratio between output voltage and the input voltage. That will give you the common mode gain. Okay, so that is written here. The other one, the differential gain, is the normally what the gain that the operational amplifier is having for differential signals. So this number should be much higher than this number, and ideally the CMRR should be infinity. It should not be a very low number. Okay, so in ideal cases the numerator should be much higher than the denominator, and denominator ideally should be 0, so that CMRR is infinity. Okay, so you can represent the CMRR in decibel scale also. So that is written here like 20 log linear scale CMRR. Linear scale CMRR is written here. Differential gain by common mode gain. This one is linear scale CMRR. So you can convert this linear scale CMRR to decibel scale. Okay, and represent it as this much dB, decibel. Okay. So that is written here. For the 741 series it is 90 dB, and for 714 series it is 120 dB. That means 30 dB higher than this one. So that is a very big improvement. The next parameter is supply voltage rejection ratio, SVRR, also known as power supply rejection ratio. It represents the ratio of the change in input offset voltage to the change in supply voltage. So it is kind of telling you that how much the input offset voltage is depending upon the power supply changes, and it should not depend like that. Okay, so in the case of an ideal operational amplifier, your supply voltage rejection ratio should be 0 in linear scale, and in the case of logarithmic scale, it is represented this ratio goes to an inversion here, and it should be having a value which is much high. So in the case of an ideal operational amplifier, it should be infinity. So this is your supply voltage rejection ratio, and in the case of 741 series, it is around 150 microvolt per volt in the linear scale, and in the case of 714 series, which is a precision operational amplifier, it is 6.31 microvolt per volt, which is much better option that you can have. Okay. The sixth parameter is output voltage swing. Output voltage swing means that what is the output range of voltages that the operational amplifier can achieve, and it is represented by a range between the negative saturation voltage to the positive saturation voltage, and this range is where the linearity is guaranteed in the case of operational amplifiers. And why do we need a linearity in the operational amplifiers cases? So suppose if you are using the operational amplifier as an amplifier, then whatever be the input voltage, input signal, the shape of the input signal should be preserved after it is getting amplified through the operational amplifier. So the output voltage or the output signal should be having the same shape as that of the input signal. So suppose if that is guaranteed, then you can say that your operational amplifier is working in its linear range. And suppose you are giving a sine wave and you are getting a square wave, or you are getting a triangular wave, then definitely linearity is violated in that case. So linearity essentially does is whatever be the input signal, its frequency is maintained in the output voltage also. Although the voltage is changed, the frequency is the same as that of the input. So that is output voltage swing. The next parameter that we are going to discuss is slew rate, and it is defined as the maximum rate of change of output voltage with respect to time, which is measured in volt per microseconds. And what it means is that if you have an operational amplifier, it is an integrated circuit, and whatever be the input voltage that is you apply to the operational amplifier, it takes some time to amplify and generate an output voltage. So that delay in the operational amplifier is characterized by this slew rate value. Okay. So how fast the output voltage changes with respect to the changes in the input voltage, and that is given by slew rate. So we can derive an equation for slew rate like this. If you consider a buffer amplifier where you will be completely feeding back the output voltage to the input like this, then the gain of the entire system will be equal to 1. So whatever be the input voltage that is applied, that input voltage will be coming at the output voltage. So Vi is equal to Vp sin omega t, that is our source, and due to the operational amplifier action, the output voltage also will become equal to Vp sin omega t, because gain A is equal to 1. And you can differentiate this with respect to time, then you will get some equation like this, and the maximum value of this equation is obtained when you put cos omega t is equal to 1. So that is dVo by dt at maximum is equal to Vp omega. Okay, and this is our slew rate. So the slew rate is given by 2 pi f into Vp. You just put omega equal to 2 pi f. And to represent this in microseconds, you can divide it with 10 raised to 6. So you get an equation for slew rate. And in the case of 741C series, the slew rate is around 0.5 volt per microsecond. And in the case of LM318, it is around 70 volt per microsecond. There are operational amplifiers which are having much higher slew rates and all. The next parameter is gain bandwidth product, and it is characterized by a number called unity gain bandwidth, UGB, and this stems from an equation like this: gain times bandwidth is a constant for a particular device. So if you choose an application and if you choose a operational amplifier, it will be having a particular constant value for the gain times bandwidth value. Okay, so when you multiply the gain and bandwidth of that operational amplifier, you will be getting a constant. So that constant is represented like this. So you can give a negative feedback for the operational amplifier in your application, and that is going to reduce the gain of the operational amplifier. So when you plug that gain in this equation, then your bandwidth, you can see that it will be increasing, so that the gain and the bandwidth product is a constant. So in order to make this as a constant, the bandwidth will go on increasing. Suppose we are decreasing the gain and we are keeping the gain equal to 1, then what is the bandwidth? And that bandwidth is called unity gain bandwidth. And for an operational amplifier 741C, it's around 1 megahertz. For another operational amplifier like LF351 also, it is around 4 megahertz. So you can here see that in terms of gain bandwidth product or unity gain bandwidth, this LF351 is a better choice. Maybe in the case of another parameter, this might not be a good choice. But if your application needs more bandwidth for operation, then you might have to check whether LF351 is better in your application. So this is the essence of operational amplifier parameter. Certain times you will be having an application which requires more bandwidth, or certain times you will be having an application where you require lesser input offset voltage or very high slew rate, or supply voltage should be it should be immune to the supply voltage changes, like that. So depending upon your application, you have to choose which operational amplifier you need to put into your circuit. So that's all for this video, and we will see in another video. Thank you all.